Hey everyone, it's Bernie from Burn Appetit and the Three Beers and a Mic Extended Universe, and I'm here to talk to you about something that is not only delicious, but also makes an impact. Thrive Coffee is a non-profit craft coffee roaster based out of Richmond, Virginia, who uses coffee to create careers and training opportunities for individuals with disabilities. In just 3 bags sold pays for 1 hour work for their differently abled employees. So it sounds like a Brazilian good reasons to check out their website at drinkthrive.org. And as an added bonus, Drink Thrive is giving our listeners a special promo code that gives you 15% off your first order. Just head over to drinkthrive.org and enter 3 beers at checkout. Again, that's drinkthrive.org, promo code 3beers. Let's support this great cause.
I want to know what you're thinking.
Gotta put the hat on.
There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Front Row Negative, the podcast. It is I, your host, and I'm joined again with that fat bish, GM skunk. Now he's that driving bish because he is on the road driving instead of being late this time. He's driving and talking. Here. So, what? Yeah, you're here traveling. You're like, what are you, door dashing for ponchos?
We went to the Galleria.
Hey man, times are tough, man. You gotta make money somehow.
That is true. You can raise the flag to that. So. But today we are joined.
You know we don't have any Patreon people yet, so I gotta do something.
We don't have Patreon people yet. We're not going to have any Patreon people.
Say we are actually at the
ponchos.
45 exit. We can go to Ponchos.
Oh god damn it! No ponchos.
No, we're not going to Ponchos.
With the 45 exits right here, we could just go.
No, it's closed.
Damn it!
Okay, we have a guest.
Aaron, who's our guest?
that's waiting in the wings. It's literally waiting in the wings. So our guest tonight for this week. If you've gone to pretty much any Texas convention, you've probably seen him there. He's a gigantic Transformers enthusiast, a child of the 80s. He doesn't age at all. He was probably John Stamos' stand-in for Full House back in the day. We got Juan Carlos Ramos. We got him tonight. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are y'all?
We are doing good. I mean, seriously, you don't ever age.
Aaron's painting the picture. Aaron's painting the picture of you being one sexy son of a bitch, man. You hear
that? He doesn't age. I met him like 15 years ago, and he still looks the same.
It's all the baby blood I take a bath in every night, and then I drink it to stay young. So that's kind of how I keep I'm just kidding.
All right, this with battery.
It's true. 15 years ago, I met him at a convention. I recognized he had artwork on his table this is Wizard World. He had artwork on his table that I recognized from a pot shop here in Houston, Bazaar, and we got to talking, and friendship happened from that. And I've seen him almost every year at a convention, well, except for last year and this year. But every year I always see him at a convention, and he's always been really cool about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Chris, are you okay? Your screen fogged up.
Yeah, I'm good, buddy.
Thank you, Chris. Fine. Okay, so our
dude, Bleacher Report just D's-nutted me.
Wow.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, those are my co-hosts. So our first segment of this show is pretty much what are you watching, what are you reading, what are you playing, what are you listening to? Something that we kind of do every week to kick off the show, to pretty much what's cool, what's not. So Juan, you can go first. So what have you been enjoying?
Okay, so I'm going to be the first one that is uncool, and then basically saying so this is going to be weird, but we're going to oversee the weirdness.
Okay.
I watch about 40 minutes of TV every night only because I run every night, and I use the 40 minutes to watch Netflix while I'm running on my elliptical bike.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm watching, I just wrapped up Terminator 2
Okay.
on Netflix,
All right.
and then I
Nice.
jumped on to Blade Runner, which just happened yesterday.
Okay.
And what was the one that I saw right before that? I'm trying to think. Oh, one of the Flash episodes for the new season that just popped up on Netflix.
That is pretty cool. I used to be a Flash addict for a while, and then things kind of got crazy with the wife and her job. I think the last episode I watched of the Flash was whenever was it the White Flash beat up Barry and was like carrying him all through the city and threw him down. That
Ooh,
was the
that
last
one's
episode
awesome.
I watched. That was the last episode I watched. I haven't watched
That was really good.
anything since. So it was pretty cool.
Godspeed. That was Godspeed.
Yeah, Godspeed. Yeah, that was a Godspeed.
Yeah, Godspeed. That was really awesome. I really like that one. It gets really quirky
You know,
after a
I wanna
while,
chime
but
in real
yeah,
quick.
I'm still watching. What's up?
I want to chime in real quick and say I'm kind of jealous that you get to go. One, you get to work on your elliptical bike. Who has the time? Secondly, you get to watch such classics as Blade Runner and Terminator 2 in episodic format. So, like, you should get a soundboard on your phone with laugh tracks and stuff. That way, anytime something really bad happens, you hit the laugh track. It'd be funny as hell.
Well, the other thing I have, and I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't seen it pop up anywhere just yet, is the I think it's it's called the Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. You remember that?
I remember
It
that.
came out for a little bit, and
that.
I bought that, and I'm like, man, I need to go back and watch that. After I saw Terminator 2, I was like, yep, I got to watch that. So that's gonna be next on my uncool list.
I think the isn't Sarah Connor Chronicles that stars Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Sarah Connor.
Yep, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. And it also has a dude from 90210. I don't know his name, but he's on there.
Brian Austin Green.
Yes.
Green as
Yep.
John, I think.
I was about to say,
sir.
Ryan Ziering is on a Terminator show?
No, he's fighting sharks.
He's fighting sharks. Yeah, he's waiting for
fighting
Terminator. For
He's
Terminator to
fighting
pop up
sharks.
from the hurricane.
He's fighting sharks. So all right there, weatherman over there driving. What have you been watching, listening to, playing, or reading?
Well, listen, I've been enjoying a little bit of time off since I've transferred from working at Bedrock. I now work from home on art, and I have my own shop with my wife, as our 17 listeners know.
With the who?
I'm sorry, with my wife, and we've been catching up on like Doug Days, which is an animated short, like five episode short on Disney Plus, about Doug and Carl from Up, the Disney Pixar movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just so darn adorable and heartstring pulling. As usual, Disney Pixar likes to pull at your heartstrings and just rip them out of your chest. And
Yeah.
there's that. And then we catching up on What If, and man, that most recent episode is just killer.
Yes, I will agree to that.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
And so I'm not sure. I think I would say in the pregame, Juan said he had not watched it. I feel for you, Juan, because you're missing out on some good stuff, man.
I hear that constantly, so I do want to watch it. I definitely want to watch it. So it is on my list. I have to go back. Like I said, I was falling asleep almost in every episode. In fact, my kids are waiting for me. Like right after the podcast, we're gonna go watch What If, and I swore to them that I wouldn't fall asleep. So I don't know which one the new one is, but we're gonna go watch that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're about to find out what's about to happen. So if it's the good one, then I guess I'm gonna be there and I'll be ready. So I won't fall asleep. I'm stuck. I have to commit.
Yeah. I will say the thing with
And
What
I'm
If
also
stuff.
pretty excited. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm also pretty excited that my wife and I recently signed up for YouTube Premium. So I have to watch YouTube with my pinky out now.
Family. I had premium, and then I signed us up for family
Oh,
premium.
YouTube Premium Family. So we're enjoying the privilege, if you will, of commercial-free YouTube. I never realized YouTube was that enjoyable until I didn't have to hear about like Progressive Insurance or
Yeah, but you
Denny's. something like that.
You can add 5 family members, and we had extra, so we added Aaron to the family.
Yep.
Woo!
So
Yep.
now it's like Fast
Awesome.
and Furious with YouTube. You're part of his family.
That is very much true. It has been great to not hear the ads for like 5 pounds of toxic poop or shave your ball hair with this super
Yeah.
slick razor.
I like
Yeah,
the
that one
zoo
guy-
poo.
guy with the
I like
stupid
that
face,
one.
like, your shampoo, it's shit. Shave your nuts. I'm like,
Yeah,
my
those commercials are bad. They're just terrible. They're completely terrible.
awful.
So-
awful.
So what I was gonna say with the what if stuff is I love the old comics of What If. I've always been a big fan of the comics of What If. But I kind of want them to do at least one episode per season where they go straight for a comic book story and what if it into there to at least have that little small connection, just to have the tiny connection.
Like an homage back to the What If
just like
originals.
just like an homage. They can still keep doing the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe what ifs. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. But just have one episode per season to where you're really giving an Easter egg or some fan service to the OGs, where you're representing an old issue or representing the comic book fandom and giving them something. I kind of wish that they would do that, but I'm enjoying it.
Oh man.
I feel like
Give me
for me,
Venom Pull. I want Venom Pull. Or I'm like the Venom Punisher.
Yeah.
I just thought of something with Doug Days.
Okay.
Sorry, I just Ed Asner actually. He's the one who he reprised his voice as Carl. So that was probably his last thing he did.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it was.
Was Doug Days. Yeah.
It was.
I'm hoping they do like what they did with Don Rickles with Mr. Potato Head. Hopefully they got him to record a lot of stuff and they can just use it in the future.
that'd be kind of cool.
That would be,
That would be good.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention the. I did hear about his passing, and it was unfortunate to hear that because he was also in Cobra Kai, which is also an '80s reference.
Yeah.
I think, and so I think he was the dad, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
the
yeah, he
rich dad.
was, wasn't he?
And they
Yes.
just announced the new season dates and they also renewed it for the next season.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was also Santa in Elf, the movie Elf,
Oof.
with
Oh,
Will
it's true.
Ferrell. He was
Dude,
Santa.
that's going to hit differently this year.
Yeah, it is.
God damn it.
But we still have Bob Newhart.
We do. We still
Bob
got Bob
Newhart.
Newhart.
Because Bob
Yes.
Newhart's a vampire.
Really?
My,
Right?
my mom thought I was gonna say Bob Newhart when I told her I was like, "Hey, I got a dead guy," and she's like, "I was like, and he's old, and you're gonna hate me for it." And she's like, "Don't kill Bob Newhart." I'm like, "No, it's Ed Asner." She's like,
Listen. The guy's name is Bob Newhart.
Heart.
he's the best.
So I'm not saying he's ripping people's hearts out of their chest and replacing his old black dead one, but I think he's taking people's hearts out of their chest and replacing his old black dead one.
He's not Tony Stark. He's not Tony Stark.
No, he's Bob Newhart.
Him and Betty White.
Like,
Him and Betty White.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be messed
They're in
up if Betty
cahoots.
White was in the Ku Klux Klan? Like, it was so obvious. Like, what? Anyway, I'm sorry.
And that has been the show. Thank you for tuning in. We are now canceled again.
Oh no! Come on.
Is this round
Come
two?
on.
I just showed up, so I don't know what this is.
He's like, I don't know these guys.
That was the play on words.
I was invited.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
play on, dude.
Hey,
Uh,
I didn't see a thing that Betty White was born before sliced bread, so Betty White is the best thing before sliced bread.
Okay.
So
Again,
I wanted to
Sliced bread is the
segue.
best
Can we
thing
segue
since
back into the what if?
Yeah, we can segue back into the what if. Please,
Okay, here we go.
please.
What if we had not had that last 5 minutes of conversation and went back to the what if? And then, no, what I wanted to say, honestly, what I really wanted to say was, I remember as a kid, what ifs were a big deal for me because the main reason was all the story was contained on that one comic, and you felt like, okay, this story was cool. It was a totally different spin. And then when I was reading it, I was like, what if this was real? Like, I would actually like this story to continue.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what would always drive me like, okay, I'm going to get the next what if because it's going to give me a different spin on another story that, so for me as a kid, I was like, man, that was really cool. And, my grandpa wouldn't get to buy me the monthly books every month. So it was like, you get to go to the gasoline station, and there so happens to be a comic book stand there.
Yep.
You pick whatever comic book is there, and that's about it.
That
Oh,
is
So-
true.
there's that feeling.
That is true. So do you have a favorite issue of What If, like, or three?
Oh wow. I could be totally wrong, and it's gonna
Okay.
sound really crazy, but I remember a Dracula one with another character, and I can't remember the other character, but I remember the Dracula. So I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up, but that's what I remember as a child. I remember there was
one with
Dracula.
It was Dracula.
Okay, good.
There's one with Dracula and Daredevil. There's
That's
one with
probably the
Dracula.
one.
There's one with Dracula and Blade, and then there's one with Dracula and Punisher.
I think it had to be the Dracula and Daredevil. I think that's what I remember.
Okay.
So that's the one I remember.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I thought I was making it up because if I said it and I was like, these guys are gonna say like he doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, but I remember that one. But again, I was a kid. I mean, I was a kid. So to me, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I was even back then, I was a horror fan before I was even a superhero fan. So I was like, yeah, I like this. But
They're always
yeah.
fun. They're always fun. I think one of my favorites, and I've said this before in the past. What if Hulk had killed Wolverine? That issue.
Oh yes.
Because it had the
I never-
it had the chrome cover. It had that chrome cover on it.
I never actually had that cover, but I do remember it. It's like, man, that would have been cool. So yeah, I didn't get that one, but I wish I would have had one.
Some of them are really cool. I think one of the storyline wise, one of the good storylines was what if Doctor Doom became Sorcerer Supreme, and that was a good story. And it just kind of went off from that because there's just so many good what ifs that they've made that are just so much fun. So
Well, I mean, the fact that they were actually they were able to reformat it for actual like Marvel Universe, I think that's kind of cool because then that brings in a whole another genre of people that want to actually like see the what ifs,
yes,
and then probably start hopefully collecting again and going back into comics as they originally were intended for. So I think that's kind of cool.
it is pretty cool. And like I said, like we were saying, the What If series has been good, and we think you'll enjoy it. My favorite so far has been episode 4.
Which one is that one?
The one that just came out this week. The one that just
Okay,
came out
so
this
the
week.
first this week. Oh, okay. So
This
then
week,
that's the one I'm about to watch today.
That one, it's good, but it's like a gut punch good because you're
gut
enjoying
punch
it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, what mean? Okay, you're a fan of the Turtles, right?
Yes.
Big Turtles fan. Have you read The Last Ronin?
Yes.
It's good, right?
But
But
it's
each
a gut
episode
punch.
is a gut punch, like when each brother falls. Each episode is a
Right.
gut punch. That's
Gotcha.
how episode 4 is.
I gotcha.
Good, but it's
gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt. It's a good pain. It's a good pain.
It's a good pain. It's a good pain. I gotcha. I gotcha.
So-
I can feel you.
So to kind of finish off this segment with that, I have finally finished watching all the Transfers movies that's on Full Moon streaming. I will say this: the first 3 movies, pretty entertaining for being Full Moon. Last 3 movies, they happened. They happened. It's like they had a budget of some much. They're like, hey, let's rip off this. Let's rip off that. We can't even get the main actor again. Let's just re-record old dialogue to throw in for the 6th one to finish off the series. It is just, it happened. It just happened. They all happened. I'm glad I watched them. I'm glad I'm done with them now. So that's it. And haven't done any reading, but as far as playing, I started playing Battlefield 3 here and there. It's not kid appropriate, so I can't play in front of the kids. And I started playing another game because this is all Game Pass because it's free games. Dante's Inferno. And I remember that game from like 10 years ago.
I remember the comic book. I remember the comic book for Devil May Cry. Is that the same character?
Different
No.
character. Different character,
Yeah,
but
I gotta remember.
same game style. It's pretty much the same game style.
Okay.
You do the fighting combat stuff. You do the combos. You upload your weapons. You do all of that. The only difference is that they're like, hey, how can we make Devil May Cry even more gothic? It's like cooler, edgier. Let's send him to hell. And you know what? You know what? Let's throw a whole bunch of titties in there too. So
Why not?
so the game Dante's Inferno is nothing but demons, titties, and bootleg Nine Inch Nails soundtrack. That's all
Ooh,
it is. That's
you already
all it
got me
is.
hooked now. You said Nine Inch Nails. I gotta
Yeah.
hear. I gotta at least hear it.
It's like
At the very
bootleg Nine
least,
Inch
hear it.
Nails. But it's a fun game so far. I know there's an animated movie that they made 10 years ago as well too. I'm trying to find that because I want to watch it just to see how it is. But this
Dante's
game is
Inferno.
crazy. It's free on Game Pass. If you played all the Devil May Cries and you're tired of Bayonetta, but you want to do something that's mind-numbingly stupid, Dante's Inferno is for you. So
sounds intriguing. As soon as you said Nine Inch Nails, you had me. You had me
Yeah,
at Nine Inch Nails.
yeah, like some of the background music is very Nine Inch Nails instrumental. It's very
Cool.
instrumental to their stuff.
I like that.
But that's pretty much it. So leaving that segment, I've known you for a long time. I've said at the beginning, I've known you for a while. But what's kind of been your calling is your Transformer art. And you're
Yeah.
really good at it. You're really good at it. I've seen
Thank you.
your box art, your packaging, the posters, the shirts, all of that. Great stuff.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, what got you into Transformers? Like what was it? The toys first? Was it the cartoon? Was it the comic?
I'm going to share this story because I love this story because I like sharing it. And I just think it's funny. This is how dumb Mr. Ramos is. I call myself Mr. Ramos now, believe it or not, because I'm a teacher. But
You're a
anyway,
teacher.
but the story is I happened to be at HEB once again with my grandpa because he was cool. And my grandpa said, oh, no, sorry. Let me backtrack. It wasn't HEB. There was a store called Wins. I don't know if you remember Wins.
I remember
It was
that.
kind of
I'm
like a
old.
Kmart. It was kind of like a Kmart, but like
WYNNS wins.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my grandpa, like every other Saturday, would take me to Wins, and I got to buy one GI Joe.
Okay.
Oh man.
So GI Joe had just come out, and I was like, man, I can't wait to get Snake Eyes, and I was like hooked. I gotta go get this, and sure enough, Snake Eyes, Duke, and I can't remember the other one. I think it was just like one of the Cobra soldiers. Like, yeah, I think it was just a trooper. And then right next to all of those, there was a box, and it was a small box, and it had a white Porsche in it. And I was like, what is this? Transformers? I never heard of this before. And then I was like, it says jazz here. What is that? And I was like, I know what jazz music is. Like, and I was like, okay. But right next to that one was another one. It was a black and purple jet. It's called Skywarp.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna ask my grandpa if he'll, I saw the back of the box and I was like, oh, it transforms into a robot. That's so cool. And I didn't know anything about what Autobots or Decepticons were. That was irrelevant to me. But I was like, this thing can transform into a robot. And then I asked my grandpa, I was like, Grandpa, can I please have a Transformer? It was way more expensive than the G.I. Joes for sure. And I was like, and he said, I can have it only if I would go like a whole month of not getting G.I. Joes, because you can only get a G.I. Joe every other week. And I was like, oh man. So I lost out on the first Snake Eyes. Very bad. Okay.
Okay.
And then I had to choose between a white Porsche and a super sleek black and purple jet. Both characters that I never heard of before in my life. So lo and behold, I was like, well, in my mind as a kid, the black jet looks super cool, and the jazz Porsche is just a jazz Porsche. So do I want to fly or do I want to ride around in a car? And I was just like, I'm taking the jet.
Yeah, no brainer, right?
No brainer. So flash forward into the future, and I see my first episode of Transformers, and I'm waiting there. I cannot wait till Skywarp comes out because he's gonna rip, and it's gonna be awesome. And who do I see like the first 6 episodes? Jazz. I was just like, and then Skywarp, if he ever comes out, he's like one of the background goons, and I was just like, what
Damn
the
it.
hell just happened here? What monstrosity is this? Like,
Yeah.
how is it that Jazz is cooler than Skywarp? Like, boom, it blew my mind. I was like so upset. But anyway,
Damn, dude.
so ever since then, Skywarp has been like the one character that I collect, and so I have tons of Skywarps like all throughout Transformers, like different toy lines and all that other stuff. But I
Mhm.
make sure that I get Skywarp every single time because
Yeah.
he was the one character that like nobody liked and nobody cared about, and I was like, that's my go-to because that's what I grew up. That's the first one I ever got. So, but there's my story. I missed out on Snake Eyes.
Even
I miss.
the Transformer, like the Michael Bay Transformers.
Oh, let's not talk about Bayformers because then that's just gonna get me really upset.
Man. Oh man.
I don't think Skywalker showed up on any of those, so it's irrelevant to this conversation. And we'll stop there now. But no, yeah. So like basically every iteration of Skywarp has been like, okay, I got to get that. I have to get it. And so I've been doing that for quite a while, and I have quite a collection. Pretty ridiculous, but yeah.
I think that's pretty much most people's story is that when they get their first toy of a major series, it's usually like either a background character or a lackey, and not really the main character. I mean, for me, my first like He-Man figure was Buzz-Off, and he was in a total of 3 or 2.5 episodes of the old He-Man cartoon. The next one after that was Cyclone. He was in 1 episode of the old He-Man cartoon. So it happens. It happens. And even my first Ninja Turtle figure was Bebop, Rocksteady and Bebop, and he didn't even come in until episode 4. So it's a thing to where people who get their first toy they either get a lackey or they get somebody who's like a background character or somebody who's not even really important until later on, because you're waiting for that character to come up on screen and they never do, or if they do, they're not a main character. So
exactly, and that's kind of been my Achilles heel for all the characters. I guess I always root for the bad guys unintentionally because I just think they look cooler. Like I don't, it's not my fault. They just look cooler. Like He-Man, he made a good point to that one. My first He-Man figure was Beastman.
Yeah.
And I only because he looked like a werewolf. And then you see him in the cartoon and you're like, what's wrong with his voice? Like, who is this dude? Like, why is he here? Like, oh my god, I can't believe I used to play with this thing. I was like, oh, I want He-Man. Screw Beastman. He's not worth anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always like that. It's definitely always like that. So I mean, I guess since Skywarp, again, I've seen your work progress, and you draw amazing Transformers art and everything like that.
Thank you.
So who was your first Transformer that you actually drew that you put down paper to pen?
So that's
Skywarp?
the scary part, right? I never used to like. It's gonna sound weird. I never used to like drawing robots. I was actually scared to draw robots, and Transformers was always my my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the other weird part. I've never felt I've been able to draw a really good Ghost Rider, who's also one of my favorite Marvel characters. And I don't know, for some reason, I just felt like drawing Transformers was just kind of like taboo. And I don't understand why. It was just kind of like this thing, a stigma. Like I was like, I'm not a big mechanics guy, and this seems like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. But I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take a stab at it. And I think the first one that I drew ever was probably Optimus Prime, and not because I wanted to, but because actually my friend at the time was a big Optimus Prime fan. He's like, can you please draw Optimus Prime? And I was like, man, I'm not really good at this. And I actually recently posted something on Facebook which had like the first Optimus Prime drawn, and you'll see how terrible that is, and then you'll see how far I've come along to see the progression or the natural progression. But yeah, I mean that was my first one, and not because I didn't like Optimus Prime at all. I actually I think Optimus Prime is cool, but that was my first one, and I was just like, well, I still didn't feel at the time that I did really well. It wasn't really well executed, but I just knew that at some point, like, I had to get good at it, and I was kind of determined, and I wanted to do it because, again, it went back to my childhood. Like, this is something I truly like to do, and I have a passion for. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to try to get really good at this because I really like it. Like just me personally, personal level. So again, fast forward into now, with how long ago that has been to where we are now. Don't ask me why, but I've been into the 80s since then. Aaron, you've known me like I don't know how many years, and the 80s wasn't a big thing to like what 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever. Like it started coming back, but I was always like hardcore like 80s, like Transformers, and it just kind of just stuck with me. Now obviously I'm kind of like diving into other areas. I still like mecha, of course. You saw the most recent thing with the Ramos mecha stuff, but that's going to be a whole new line of stuff that I'm probably going to be releasing pretty soon. I do, of course, I still have my love for Transformers, so you'll still see some of that. But I am going to do like different iterations of mecha that have probably nothing to do with Transformers, and probably a little bit more original characters that I have been designing throughout the years. So I'm going to kind of push for that, and I'm going to see where that goes. Hopefully I have enough fan base that like really wants to like see some of that stuff and see my line of work on that end, or my take on some of those things, and maybe it'll come about something that's hopefully is just as good, if not semi good, to Transformers. So we'll see. But not that I'm going to give up on any Transformers stuff, but I just want to see like what the fans think about the more original work, and see and kind of go from there.
That's awesome, man. And I've never felt more useless as a co-host for a podcast than I do right now. As a kid, I effing hated Transformers. Transformers to me were the bane of my existence.
Oh no!
I mean, and it's not like I'm not mechanically inclined or anything. I am smart boy, SMRT smart. But here's the problem: like, I had the original Snake Eyes because I was like, ooh, cool! It's a ninja. And he's got swords and Uzis and a timber wolf. Come on, mate, give it to me. But for me, it was like I remember going to my friend Doyle's house when I was a kid, and his dad was a bootlegger for like videotapes and would like record all the shit off of like beta from like the video stores and sell them. So like his dad had this den of video sin. It was like all these bootleg tapes and shit, and all of Doyle's toys were in there. It's like a huge floor we just play on. And he had all these Transformers. And I'm sorry, like I don't mean to like derail. I know that's kind of my thing, right? But,
I want to hear the story. I want to hear the story. It sounds good.
Oh, you gotta be kidding! Look, he brings out all these badass jets and cars and trucks and tanks. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. I was like, he just keeps out vehicles. I'm like, okay, where are the drivers? He's like, drivers. Like, yeah, like, the cockpit, you put the guy in with the go, and he's like, no. It's like, then what kind of crazy person just buys vehicles? This is anarchy. And he's like, no. He's like, these are Transformers. I'm like, wait, that cartoon? He's like, yeah. I was like, no, those are robots. He's like, no, what's this? It takes him 20 minutes to undo one toy. And I'm sitting there like, this is the worst shit ever, dude. I'm like, no way. I cannot do this. I was like, you play with your robots / cars, whatever these are. I'm going to play with the He-Mans. You stay on that side of the room where you're crazy. I stay on this side of the room where I'm sane. And all is well. So that was just kind of my story. Like, I'm sitting here, like, you guys are impassioned about Transformers.
No. Here's the thing. I'm not a big Transformers fan. I'm not.
Now Juan wonders why he's even on this podcast.
Well, no. Look, here, because growing up, I did not like G.I. Joe. I did not like Transformers. Anything robots, I was not a really big fan of at the time. The only two robots I cared about growing up, A, Mechagodzilla, B, Megazord. That was it. Those are the only two robots I even cared about.
Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, he happened, but still, those are the only two. Those are the only two robots I cared about. One Cyclone from Masters of the Universe.
Or Cyclonus. That's a Transformer.
Cyclone.
He actually turned from Skywarp to Cyclonus. I have
look,
those too.
for a guy who don't know shit about Transformers, I threw out Cyclonus, and I got this nod and smile of approval from Juan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Juan, you're a great guy. We met at Texas Fright, or not Texas Frightmare, Alamo City Comic Con Halloween. Your stuff's awesome. Your art's beautiful, but F Transformers. I will never, ever in my life buy, nor will I ever condone playing with my kid. Unless my kid just absolutely has to have wacky ass robot cars, fine. But I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm like, look, man, here, sword, shield, battle cat, go.
Let's go.
He's like, well, here's the instruction manual. If you go to step 1A, 4C, and turn this, no, insane. The guys who live in Transformers
wait till you get
all
into
work
model
out.
kits. It's even worse.
Oh,
if you ever get into Gundam model kits, you will not have
Well,
fun.
speaking of Gundam model kits,
See, Aaron, that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is two people who are like, if this was the proverbial date, I'm like, I literally am the third wheel.
You're the third.
Good.
What is that? Oh, is that a new one? I see.
Gundam model
I
kit.
got
Yeah.
some. I got some serious ones in my closet that have yet to like even be opened out of the like clear
Same here.
case. So like,
Oh, so you're a closeted Gundam fan? I see.
well, I just right.
I'm playing with you.
Like one of these days, I'm gonna get to it, but it's like in there, like
Yeah.
it's so funny. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a gap of like where there's not gonna be any work, and when I get that gap, it's like, hey, Ramos, I got this project for you. Are you free? And it's like, sure. I'll do it for 2 times the amount I normally get paid, so they can leave me alone. And they're like, we'll take it. I'm like, oh, now I got to do it. It's like, all right.
Oh my god.
Dust pile of it.
Dude, side note, we're all artists here, so we all know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
I hate when somebody's like, hey man, can you do a portrait of my dog as Robin the Boy Wonder? I'm like, no. In my mind, I'm like, I don't want to draw that. There's no way. And he's like, how much, man? I'm like, $800. Okay, what's your PayPal? Shit! I got to draw this stupid thing. So there's some stuff in my name out there. I'm just like, oh, I did it for the money. I feel like a dirty girl when I do that stuff. I'm like, okay,
It happens.
I did it. I was paying my way through dental college.
No,
well, okay.
I was gonna say on my actual birthday, I had somebody text me or send me a PM. Hey, I want to get this shirt design. I have a match in a few weeks. Can you give me this logo, this shirt design, this other shirt design, and then this emblem for my jacket though that where it's the ring. And I'm like, it's Monday, it's my birthday. I'm like, sure. I gave him a quote. I charged him 3 times the amount because like I don't want to be bothered. I want to enjoy my birthday. 5 minutes later, I get a ding from PayPal. Money was sent. I'm like, oh, no.
Damn it.
I'm like, no.
Well, one of the things I should be honest and clear and transparent. I feel like I don't mind honestly doing those, but I am transparent to them and I tell them, look, the reason why it's this price is because like think about it. Like if it's something personal to the person, how are you as an artist going to be able to like to make actual production money off of that? Probably not, right?
Yep.
And so that's kind of where I make it really clear. It's like if this is a custom piece like specific for you, it has to be more than my normal rate because there's nothing outside of like me delivering this one original piece to you that I can make money off. It's the one-off that I can get money on, and then I have to make sure that it's worth, it has to be worth your time as an artist. So I'm usually upfront with that with my customers because I want them to know, like, hey, I'm not charging you. I'm charging you with the intent of like, oh, this guy just wants to gouge me. It's like, no, I'm charging you because there's not really much I can do with this after the fact. And that's kind of what I don't know. We're supposed to be segueing into this or not. But I do want to let artists know, like just in general, if they're hearing this, like me as an artist, that's Mr. Ramos as an artist, but me as Mr. Ramos, the businessman, then that's where I feel like artists don't have that guidance. They don't have the knowledge base to do that, and so I want to be like helpful as much as I can to like all aspiring artists and just my friends in general. Like if you really want to like pursue this as a career, like you have to start having that business mindset and not just do things for like, I hate to say it, but like proverbial, like, oh, you're going to get exposure or you're going to do this because it's going to expand into some other thing. It's like, well, you as an artist, you have to be able to fund those things that you're putting or devoting your time to.
Yeah.
And I just feel that like I hate to get so serious all of a sudden, but it just kind of got me. It's like, yeah, I mean, in this instance, like just for these like specific ones, like letting the clients know, like, hey, if you're gonna make me do a one-off, it's got to be worth my time, and I have to
Yeah.
be able to like, generate what I couldn't generate for that time that I'm devoting to you. So
Right.
I think that's only fair. Like, and
It
in
is.
all honesty, and I hate that you feel like a dirty girl about it.
Well, I mean,
I know what you mean. You're totally joking, but
yeah.
I get it.
In our
I get
loosey goosey
it. All.
format, I'm the color commentary, as it were. Aaron is the straight man, so I have to say goofy shit sometimes.
I got you. It's all good.
I try to be nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think for everything that we do as artists, like, I mean, y'all are artists as well, so you know that feeling about like, okay, there's just certain jobs that
Yeah.
you don't feel like either compassionate about or these things that you just kind of like, well, I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. Sometimes I'll refer people too, because like with the intention of like not so much to let it go or let the project go, but like
Mhm.
not to let the client down. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I might not be able to work on this project, but I might have somebody who can do it
Yeah.
and will do a good job for you. So
Yeah.
I like to do that as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, that's kind of like, hey, it didn't work out for us, but I can get you somebody that can help you out and hopefully can fulfill
Oh,
like
Yeah.
for what you're
yeah,
looking for.
man. I don't know. I mean, Aaron can tell you. I don't know how many times Aaron can tell you I've sent people his way because, people ask me for logos all the time, and for me, it's like, I can legit like pencil out and do like old school pencil out, blue line, go back and light table ink and all this shit, and take
Yeah,
God hours, ungodly amount of time to do this logo, or I can see you to Aaron who can do that shit in 45 minutes and be done with it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I
why
hear
would
you.
I, what I mean? And that's to your point. Like, everyone has something they excel at, and I am not a computer guy. I'm definitely not a logo guy. As a
Mhm.
matter of
Okay.
fact, that's why, guess who I go to for my logos, right? So, like, it's not playing your strengths, man. So, I mean, we joke around. It's not like,
Yeah.
we say we charge more. Look, I'm sorry, but you and I and Aaron are saying the same thing. We're in the same book, different pages. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to charge more because, damn, dude, like, how much? What else could I be working on? You know what I mean? Like, to your point, like
Well,
Exactly.
I
prints for
mean,
shows and things like that. I mean, I can't. Can you draw Optimus Prime as Bambi? Like, okay, sure, whatever, but like, who the hell's going to buy this?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Well,
So I
it's
mean, and
time
there's
is money.
times. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, so say time is money. You're taking away your free time to work on something for somebody else, and I'm not trying to disregard or try to throw shade at customers or anything like that.
no, not at all.
That's why
No.
that's why you always ask me, what's your timetable? How long are you
Exactly.
giving me? Like, what timetable? That way I can kind of get
Always.
my
That's like first thing I say. Like,
yeah
hey man, like here's my turnaround time. Before
yeah
we even talk turkey, if you got some time to wait, because I'm a working artist as opposed to a not working artist.
yes
I get paid to do this, and so I have a list. If you want to get on the
yeah
list to get in this club, here's the surcharge, my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and
and
that's the other thing too. Like I try to like pick and choose my projects with that intention. Basically, like I mean, I would say that most of the clients that come to me already kind of have an idea. Like, hey, this guy's not going to turn it around in 2 weeks. Like it's
yeah
already like that's already the expectation. Like I set
yeah
that way ahead of time. Like if you want something, you're looking at a month. You're looking at maybe 2 months. So like
Sure.
it's
yeah
gonna be, and the more intense you need to have a finished
hmm
product, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's gonna take me some time. I want to more than anything. I always say this to my clients. I need to make sure that when the client walks away with something that they got from Ramos,
yep
they're excited, they're happy, and they're saying to themselves, "It was well worth the money." Whatever
Yes.
yeah
whatever my price point is, I want them to walk away like, "Hey, this was totally worth it." And so, if they want something that they want to turn around at a fast rate,
hmm
and they just want me to pump it out, it's not going to be good. I just
yeah
don't feel that it's going to
Yes.
be where it needs to be. And not only that, but then I start feeling bad about it. It's like, man, if there's something that I just chunked out just to get it out, then
hmm
I personally feel like, why would I do that to somebody? Like I feel like I let them down and I let myself down. And so
yeah
it's kind of like a twofold. So for me, it's like, well, I would rather choose my projects and say, look, this is my time frame. This is what I can do for you. If you
hmm
can't meet the time frame, then you're definitely better off like finding somebody that can fulfill that time frame. But
yeah
I would rather turn in a good quality product that everybody's happy with than turn in a half excuse my language, half-ass job and turn that in, and then hope that the client and the audience is going to like actually like it. So, and not only that, but my name's on it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, your
So
name's
my
on it.
name's on it, and it's like I'm really like worried at that point.
Well,
My
I mean, you are your own brand. You are your own brand. So you have to be able to express yourself. You have to sell yourself.
yeah,
And you have to know your limitations and all of that. At the
yeah,
same time, you don't want to take advantage of your people, of your client. But at the same time, you want to know your value, because
yeah,
you're your own brand.
for sure.
I think the thing that I deal with the most is whenever I throw my quote out there, I get the pretty much universal. It costs this amount, or you don't do it for free. I think the worst of it, and I still get this because my name gets brought up in that company all the time. I used to work for a certain self-entitled celebrity here in Houston for a few years, and he had a TV show. I think he might still be on 39, like at 3 a.m, or I think he's on YouTube now. But I worked for him for exposure bucks, annual exposure bucks. I was never promoted. I was never given shout outs. I was never.
You weren't exposed?
I was unexposed. I was not.
Oh man!
Ouch.
None of that.
You died from non-exposure.
Because this person doesn't like to pay. He doesn't like to pay people. That's why his company now has sponsorships instead of him paying his people.
Wow.
So learning from that, now I have to tell people this is how much it costs. This is my rate. This is what I do. I can do a quick turnaround, but give me a week and a half. That way, that kind of gets me through the concept era, where we can go through concepts and see what you like, stuff like that.
Right.
And since then, I still have people say, "Oh, so and so sent me over to you. I want this and this and this done by Thursday, and this is Monday." Like, okay, here's how much it's going to cost. Wait, you charge? You don't do it for free? Like, dude, no, come on, man.
Oh my god!
Seriously.
Well, my initial thing to like help you would be to say, okay, like right before you have the discussion, you just say, what's your budget? Like, what is your budget for?
I
for
say
the
that.
project?
I asked that. I asked the budget.
As soon as you say that, and they say, "What, you don't do it for free," then that kind of cuts the conversation in half, right? So basically, like at that point, you're like, "Well, I can refer you to somebody that could possibly do it for exposure. I don't know if they will, but here's their contact information." But yeah, I feel that like. I feel like with any like skill that you have, obviously you work very hard. You spent a lot of years doing work. You shouldn't be expected to do it for free unless it was like a family member. Like I would say this, I'm going to say this as critically as I can, and of course it might come off a little bit bad, but if I was a brain surgeon, which I'm not, but if I was a brain surgeon, and let's say my mom, I hope never to God that she has a hemorrhage in her brain. I'm doing that one for free, like for sure. Like hands down, that's my direct family member. It's going for free. Okay. But if it's let's say my friend down the street, I'm sorry, but you got to go to the hospital like everybody else, and I will do it. Definitely do it, but I got to get paid to do what you want me to do. So, and I know that sounds terrible. It's a terrible example to do, but it's more of like I need people to understand the concept of like the things that you do for free are probably going to be small and minimal. I used to do these for Christmas with all of my friends at work, where I used to work at. During Christmas, I would give them like sketches, and they had the option like, tell me what you want me to draw, and I would give them a free sketch for Christmas. So, and it was a little card sketch. So
cool.
I felt that put enough time, I devote some of my time to like give them Christmas gifts, and that's what I would do for them. And so yeah, there's certain like times when I'll say, okay, I'm feeling generous, I'm going to definitely do like something like that for free. But if you have like somebody just come up to you and say, hey, I need this huge project done for free, I have to say no. I can't.
See, after hearing you say all of that, I feel a little bit bad for charging my mom for a project for a logo of last year.
Oh, wait a minute,
I feel
man.
a little
Hold
bit
on.
bad. I feel a little bit bad for charging.
No, Aaron. There's a lot of backstory we're not filling in here, my friend. So.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
No, there's exceptions to every rule. Look, I tell people, man, like And this is when you're talking about not trying to come off like an asshole or anything. But here's what I tell people: like, okay, let's say for instance you need to buy a sealant to seal a window on your house, right? And you want the best sealant you can get for your money. You're going to have to pay for the best sealant.
Pretty
right?
easy.
Yeah.
And so
Pretty
that's not, that metaphor is not me punching down at anybody or saying, but I mean, it's literally, that is the free market 101. You get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So like, if you want freebie work, you're gonna get freebie work, my friend. You know what I mean? Like that's what you could afford. So who are you to blame anybody? You're a bit pissed off when we don't want to get paid in exposure. I've tried to pay for my cell phone bill 3 times with exposure. They've laughed me out of T-Mobile every time.
That's true. Well,
sorry, I don't know how we went to this tangent.
Yeah, I don't know how we got
apologize.
so
That's our
turning. Let's turn the ship around. So basically, back to Transformers.
Yes.
I know we were
Sorry.
we were talking about our hatred. Well, Chris was talking about his hatred for Transformers. I was saying I didn't really get into it. But what kind of got me interested in Transformers was the Dinobots, because that's dinosaurs, that's robots. I've always been a big, had a thing for dinosaurs and giant monsters and everything. The Dinobots were cool to me. And then when I learned that there was like a 3-headed dragon transformer, there was like a lion transformer, and there's all these different animals. I'm like, well, holy crap! I've got to know more. So Grimlock has always been my favorite.
Yes.
Slag and Sludge and all of them have always been, my favorite. I've always been a fan of the Dinobots. I've always been a fan of the Constructicons. And that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to try to come off as like a Transformers expert. I know most of the Transformers because of friends who are giant Transformers. Oh, wow. That is a lot of Transformers you have in your room.
There's a Devastator up there.
Oh man, over there, Detolf. Look at Detolf pimping with the Transformers.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? Like, I enjoyed the first Transformers Michael Bay movie. Not to bring it back to Bayformers or anything, but like, the first movie to me as a moviegoer was enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Visually stunning, typical Michael Bay humor. You're like, all right, cool, whatever. Hot girl, blah blah blah, fix a car, yeah, whatever. Okay, great. But I went and saw the second movie, and man, did we jump the robotic shark on that son of a bitch. Look,
don't you mean the robotic balls?
Exactly. And the balls to do it. The balls, you even put the balls in the movie.
Oh my God. It was terrible.
Metal clangers on the Devastator. I personally was devastated by the Devastators. Devastatees.
Devastate testes?
Devatastes, yeah.
Now, I will say though, Transformers 3 got me. They got me. And you want to know how they got me?
How?
Mountain Dew race car robot Transformer.
There you go. I figured. Of course.
The Mountain Dew Transformer race car that they had in part 3. Now the first movie did have the Mountain Dew vending machine Transformer, the little Decepticon.
Yeah.
I actually have the little minifigure of that. I've got the little minifigure up in my studio of that robot, that Decepticon. but the fact that Dale Jr. was the model that they used to make the Mountain Dew race car for Transformers 3 is not only is that silly and stupid at the same time, but that got me in for part 3. I was sold. And I regretted it.
Aaron, and then Michael Bay was like, "Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron. I won you over. You're mine."
And I was just like, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Also back to your point, Juan. This podcast is rated M for men, so you can talk however you want on here. Profanity is fine. Blaine gave us the approval, so
balls and cigars, balls, leather, balls and cigars.
Balls and cigars. Got it. What was I gonna say? So the Bayverse got me too, Eric. So I gotta agree with you. But in my defense, I saw the Bumblebee movie and I said, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie for the first 5 minutes of the movie. So I heard that the first 5 minutes of the movie was top of the top, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Michael Bay, I hate your guts, and I wish you never touched Transformers in your life, but you got a new director to do this, and you executively produce this one. So technically, you're not involved in this movie, but I will say that got me hooked on the Transformers. And it's like, okay, I like what they did with the whole Cybertron reference,
Hmm.
all the war battle, all the characters in there, everything that was in there. I was just like, if they would have just made the whole movie this
Yeah.
for 2 hours and then spend 30 minutes to close up Bumblebee's little story, would have been a happy Bayformer fan, I guess, or whatever. I would admit, but until they get to that point,
Hmm.
sorry, Michael Bay, I am not too happy. I'm not too happy.
Hey
So
man, every movie needs a baby Groot now, right? So that's what Bumblebee became, was the cute Transformer.
Well,
and I'm honestly like his Bumblebee movie. Like I felt like, okay, well, this is a good movie, obviously because it has a lot of '80s reference. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna. It's warming up to me. Like I can
okay.
feel it. Like you're getting me. You're catching my attention.
Hmm.
So definitely the eye catcher for me. I was like, okay, well this works for me. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with Netflix, but Netflix has a bunch of like Transformers episodes that are like War for Cybertron. I can't remember all
Yeah,
the
the new stuff. It's all the new
names.
stuff.
Yeah. So they're basically like combining a lot of things, like obviously to sell more toys, and that's great on for Hasbro and the new kids that are
Uh-huh.
buying all these toys, myself included, still buying the toys. But yes, but yeah,
Have
I
you bought any
love
of the new
the.
toys? Have you bought any of the new stuff, like the master
Yeah, I
classes and
did
stuff?
actually. I hate to admit it, but yes, I am actually like even on pre-order at GameStop. So like I'm doing the layaway plans at GameStop. Like I here's another $20 because I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that Optimus Prime helmet, and I just bought my daughter. She likes Soundwave, so I bought my daughter a Funko Soundwave pop, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked. Like you got me, you got me. All right, you got me.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm buying all the toys and not reluctantly because I still like them. But yeah, they got me hooked. On
Uh-huh.
top of the third party stuff that I'm doing too. So yeah, very very happy kid right now with all
Yeah.
the toys coming out.
On the toy side of it, just we always we swing around to toys at some point in the show. Obviously, with Transformers, you can't avoid it. Um, I learned a lot about Transformers from working in the collectibles industry, so I can
Okay.
throw out names like Cyclonus and have it make sense for me. But man, like I feel like the shark was really jumped when I was working one day and someone's like, "Hey, can I get Transformers and My Little Pony number 3?" I was
Oh
like,
no.
"You sound like you're 47." He's like, "49." I'm like, okay,
Oh
man, baby, I'll
no.
grab this for you.
Yeah, that's I mean, some of the things that they were doing, I'm just like, why? Like, why? I don't get it. But I mean, I understand, from a business aspect, but on the like the kid aspect, I'm like, that's not working for me. But oh, to your point, He-Man is making a big comeback too. So if you
Yes.
happen to go to a Walmart, He-Man
Yes.
will be there for you to play, your barbarian sword and
Yeah.
shield.
Dude,
Uh,
hell yeah.
Yeah. We have a little collectors group we have with a few of our friends, and apparently all of us now are He-Man fans because we're all looking for certain things like
I,
pops, the figures, the new. Have you seen Revelations? Have you seen the new series yet?
I haven't seen the new series. It's Kevin Smith, right? Kevin Smith?
Yes. Not for
Yes.
kids. Not for kids.
Not for kids.
Not
Okay.
for kids. But it is good.
Which
It
is
is
Okay.
good.
shocking because to that business model, like you're talking about how like the stuff on Netflix for Transformers for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the point I've been trying to get across to my friends in regard to wrestling. And Vince McMahon, I'm sure you've heard that name before, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
WWE sucks ass right now. It is awful. Awful garbage. It is
Oh.
Transformers
You
wrestling.
just lost your sponsorship. You just realized it, right? You lost your sponsorship.
I'm 40 years old. They don't give a shit. They haven't cared about me since I was 22. Or I'm sorry.
22?
Well, I mean, I'm still in the 18. What a weird demographic. 18 to 49 is the demographic that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, which is what the demographic for AEW, which is the new hot company that is gearing itself towards. But the point I was making, I've been trying to make when I shit on WWE is because it's not a product for me anymore. I'm not the target audience.
Nope.
Right.
If I had any kids, they would be the target audience because they
Right.
know that I'm a grown ass man with money, and my kid likes Goober McGee, the new wrestler, so I got to go out and buy his stupid shirt and his stupid toy and all that shit for my kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, even then, I mean, my kids, they do not like WWE right now. Both of them
Really?
are kind of
Why?
like, no, my daughter, she has her favorites. My son has his favorites. And even when I turn on Raw, say, who wants to watch Raw? They both like, I don't want to watch it. Do you want to watch SmackDown? No, I don't want to watch it. I turn on AEW, they both come running in and want to watch it. They want to see Orange Cassidy. They want to see this guy. They want to see CM Punk. They want to see all these people. And it's like, wow, okay. Even though it's geared toward them, and these are my kids. My kids love Teen Titans Go. So they're all about the fart jokes. They're all about the silliness, the goofiness.
Hey, I like Teen Titans Go. But go.
I love it too. The main thing I like about Teen Titans Go is the background jokes.
Me
Because
too.
you'll see stuff in the background that the kids won't get, but the parents laugh. Okay, in Robin's room, there is an urn that says Robin 3 on it. That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
It is awesome.
Well, my
I
whole
love
thing is
that.
like they talk about VHS tapes, and like my kids they didn't know what a VHS tape was, and of course I told them, and they're like, "Look, Daddy, we're at the not the flea market, the thrift store," and they're like, "Hey, look, Daddy, there's VHS tapes." Like, yep, we got to find those vintage ones. We're gonna make some money over here.
You're like, they're like, look how old you are. You're like, yes, I know. Buttholes. Hey, probably gentlemen, I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all continue talking about robots I hate, and I'll be right back.
But same with the He-Man thing. Revelations is good, not for kids, but it's just so well done. And
I gotta see it.
And me and Chris were talking about it a few weeks ago. What got me was one of the voice actors they got for one of the characters. And if you know, you're into horror, so you must know who Scareglow is, right?
Scareglow, yes.
The glowing skeleton.
So.
The glowing skeleton.
Yeah.
The voice is Tony Todd.
Tony Todd,
Candyman.
Oh,
is the
my
voice.
goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Perfect,
awesome.
Perfect casting. Perfect casting. As soon as and the thing with me is that I didn't go to IMDb. I stayed off Wikipedia. I wanted to be like I went in blind for this new Masters Revelations.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that voice, because he starts talking, I'm like, holy shit, that's Tony Todd. And I had to rewind it. I rewound it to hear the voice again. I'm like, that's Tony Todd. Okay, I'm sold, completely sold, because they got a good voice.
Right. He's a great actor. I think he's a fantastic actor, especially in Candyman. Oh my god, his voice is perfect. I'm a big Clive Barker fan, so for me, Clive Barker is like a big deal for me. And and when they made Candyman, I don't think he directed it, but I know he made the original story for that. And I know they kind of changed up a lot of things on it, but I do feel that like just like the whole mythos behind Candyman was probably one of the best like new characters that I saw in horror that were like, okay, this is like right along on the lines of like, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, I'm like, man, this guy is amazing. So I was like, I don't know. It was just kind of like cool. Like once I saw that character, I was kind of hooked. I was like, this is awesome. I could not be like, I was just saying, and I was like, I need to watch this again. And I need to watch it again. And there's something that I missed and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go watch this one more time. I was just like, I was hooked. I was like, I got to keep watching it because there's things that I missed. And then I'm like, oh, look at this. I did not know about that. Like, hey, what's this mean? And I wouldn't even go look it up. Like, that's how crazy I started getting about it. Like really, really hooked on Candyman. But big deal, man. That's awesome. Now I have to go and watch the He-Man.
I mean, all the voices they got, because they got a lot of surprise voice actors and actresses for the show. And when you're listening, you're like, wait, that's so and so, and you're looking it up and like, oh crap, this guy's in it, this person's in it, and it makes perfect sense. It's just really well done. But,
that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean the figures look amazing because I've gotten He-Man. I found a few of the other ones.
Okay.
So yeah, the figures are really cool. But I do know that there is a kids version of the new He-Man coming out soon, eventually. Where they've got like battle armor, like they've got like Power Ranger style battle armor on.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much Power Rangers but mixed with He-Man. So that's kind of a way of saying it. It looks pretty cool. I showed my kids that trailer. They love it. They want to check it out. And my daughter's getting back in the 80s stuff too, because she watched the new She-Ra cartoon. That was on Netflix.
Yeah.
She loved it. So now she wants to watch the old stuff. Like my son,
awesome.
I showed my son the new He-Man trailer for the new the Armor Power Armor cartoon that's coming out. He's
Yes.
psyched for it, and he wants to watch the old cartoons now too. So
Oh,
that's bringing them
awesome.
back. And since they're re-releasing those old figures at Target and at Walmart, it'll be a little bit easier to kind of get them back into those toys and stuff like
Oh
that
yeah, for sure.
to get them
That-
psyched up. So it'll
I'm
definitely be really cool.
I'm trying to get my kids like, so my son is like, I buy a bunch of third party Transformers, and they're like, they're kind of the higher end things, and
Yeah.
they happen to be like obviously the most tune accurate too. And so he's watching the cartoons and he's watching the episodes, and he's like, Daddy, I want to do stop motion with all of your third party figures. I'm like, that's cool. I can't wait for you to do that. And so he's kind of like already in the
Mhm.
mindset that he wants to like start doing some motion, stop motion with these. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, let's figure out how to make it work and let him, run with it. And so I feel that that's also going to kind of get him hooked too. Just the fact that like he's looking at that and he's looking at these. And I mean, as a kid, obviously, like you as a kid, me as a kid, when I bought a Transformer, it looked nothing like the actual cartoon, not even
It didn't.
close. And it's like, okay, well, you kind of had to reimagine and like kind of like, yeah, I squint my eyes and put soap in there and maybe, I don't know, ask it a little bit and,
Yeah.
maybe I want to look like them. But, now they're so like refined on their engineering side. It's like, they talk like a 1-for-1. And I think it's amazing that they've been able to do that. And because of that, I think that's also the other draw to them as kids is like, they're
Mhm.
watching the cartoon, they're watching these figures, and I mean, it's a 1-for-1. It's not like a
Yeah.
like totally off base one like when we were growing up. And so yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I think all those things are the drivers for a lot of the
Mhm.
reason why kids are like getting into it, is because at this day and age, the engineering, the toy replication, like even I would have never thought in 1,000 years something like Teen Titans Go could actually be produced as a toy that
Yeah.
would actually function and work well. And then
Yeah.
you see all these toys and they look like literally like the cartoon.
Just
I'm
like a
just like
cartoon.
floored, like where the age that we live in, like, man, we can do all this really cool stuff. And so I'm really happy with the fact that like we can actually like do a 1-for-1 even with something like that, because lo and behold, I hate to plug this in, but like my Kid Wolf stuff, my intention is to hopefully have an actual full-fledged figure that we can kind of like mass produce.
Mhm.
I definitely want to get some animation going, and I definitely want my storyline to like move on. Obviously, everything's gonna have an '80s reference in that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm gonna probably be stuck into the '80s until the heart stops beating. I guess I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, my intention is that like that's what it's gonna be. Like I don't know why, but it's just like these things that I grew up with. I feel like
Yeah.
they need a new avenue, and that's kind of where I'm trying to get to. So, but yeah,
So kind of speaking on that, I have to ask:
Yes.
was there ever a toy that you got? You got the toy, you got the figure, you got the character, whatever, and then you finally see them on screen, and they looked nothing like the toy that you got. And for me, the first one that comes to mind, the very first one that comes to mind, is Slash from the Ninja Turtles, because
Slash
the figure looked amazing. He was like all shredded, he was like he had pointy spikes everywhere. He had the claws, he had the swords, he had like the pirate eye. He looked snarl and everything. And then you watch him on the cartoon, and he comes out as this goofy hillbilly-esque dummy turtle with
Oh no!
he's got like a Saiyan tracker on one of his eyes and all that, like a Saiyan scouter, and it's like it was like a big letdown. He was even the wrong color because the toy he was green and purple. The
Right.
cartoon he was brown and darker brown, and it was just it was
That
just
is
a big
amazing.
letdown.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one was the biggest letdown for me, but I know I did have one. The biggest letdown. Let me see. I'm trying to think. I know there was one, and I was just like, because I've had obviously as a kid, I had plenty of toys, but
Yeah,
the bigger letdowns were probably going to be. This is going to sound terrible because I'm pretty sure a lot of people like this, but Serpentor from G.I. Joe.
okay,
Like for some reason, I thought like, man, this thing's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna buy it, and he had he's Serpentor. If you know, J. Joe's like the guy with the snake head. He had the cobra like actually sticking out.
yeah.
He had this
He
whole
looked cool.
ear.
Cool.
It looked, oh, this is the biggest one. I'm sorry. I got a bigger one than that one.
Okay.
So let me segue back. Zartan.
Yes.
So Zartan, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm making this cool figure. it turns green, it does this thing, and it transforms. It has a mask. You could change him into a whole other figure, and then the figure comes out, and you're just like, what is this? Like, I put him in the sun, and he turns green, and I put him inside the air condition, and he's back to normal color. And I lost a little face mask the first day, so that was pointless. And nothing else. Like, there's no headgear. You can't even make him look like any other character.
Nope.
I felt like that was one of my bigger letdowns because I felt like, man, this thing went nowhere. I spent all this money. I thought this guy was gonna be cool, and I'm just like, this guy is horrible. The figure's horrible. Design is horrible, and it didn't even look like the cartoon. Like the cartoon, he has an awesome like hoodie thing.
Yeah, he's got
and
the hood on.
the plastic that they glued onto the actual figure was like a little point in the front of his head and maybe like 2 flaps on the side of his ear, and I was like, what is this? Like, it's like terrible. But yeah, that was a pretty big letdown. I wasn't too happy with that one. He turned green for some reason, which he never turned green in the cartoon. It was horrible. It was just absolutely horrible. I was like, okay. I think Zartan killed it for me after that. And I don't remember buying a Transformer even. Oh, Serpentor. So I bought Serpentor right after that. And I think Serpentor was my last one. So I went from like, this is gonna sound terrible. You remember all the bright colored characters that started coming out of G.I. Joe?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That's what I thought G.I. Joe started
Pimp
going
Destro?
downhill because
It's like
you had
Pimp,
all this,
Destro,
like,
and
camouflage, you had the dark
yeah.
colors, and then all of a sudden you have Zartan's team. They're all like in hot pink and like 80s colors, and I'm just like, these are like war criminals, and they're in like the brightest colors, and they're mercenaries. Like, none of this makes sense to me. Like, maybe if they were like the Road Warriors and Mad Max, like, okay, I can buy that, but it's like, this isn't working. I'm not sure why, but it's just not working. But yeah, sorry, I went off on like a couple tangents, but yeah, those are
No,
my.
it's fine. No, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Just because it's like you buy these toys because they look really cool, and then you're hoping that the cartoon looks cool. I think another example that I have kind of sums it up because the figures looked amazing. The figures came out, I want to say like 2 months before the cartoon aired, and you didn't really know anything about the cartoon because they didn't really show any trailers for it except for the logo on the network that it came on. And this was Street Sharks.
Oh,
Street Sharks. The figures looked amazing. And then you saw the cartoon. And the cartoon the cartoon for Street Sharks was terrible, but the figures looked badass until you watch the cartoon. And it was like, this is bad. This is really bad.
Street Sharks. I couldn't tell you a single episode. Oh, I'm back, by the way. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll ask you the question, Kristen. Basically, is there a figure that you bought of a character or anything that when they finally debuted on the cartoon show that you were watching, you were disappointed in? And my example was Slash Turtles. Because Slash the figure looked badass and Slash the cartoon character looked dopey as hell.
You're not wrong.
Ramos said Zartan from G.I. Joe, the figure versus the character.
Ooh, cold-blooded. Yeah, you're not wrong, man.
So do you have one? Do you have one where the figure looked awesome, and then when the character debuted, it looked nothing like the figure or just straight up disappointment?
I run the risk of sounding somewhat sacrilegious here, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
And to you in particular, because you're probably, at first, they have that meme of the girl that's like, ugh, and she's like, Okay. You know that one?
Yeah.
This is your reaction. Okay?
Okay.
Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger.
How are you disappointed?
Because the cartoon sucked, dude.
That's because the movie was awesome.
But the movie was awesome.
Amazing.
I'm talking about the cartoon.
Okay. The figure.
The figure was dope as shit.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Hold on. I have to stop you there. That's the Toxic Crusaders. Very different.
Oh, yeah.
Very different.
Toxic
Crusaders, Toxic Avenger. Two different things.
The Toxie figure from Toxic Crusaders was dope as shit.
Yes.
But the cartoon was stupid.
I mean, that's like comparing Titans on HBO Plus versus Teen Titans Go.
All right. Hold on. You know what? Let me think of another one. Hold on. Give me a second. Because I'm going through my Rolodex of all the shit I owned that as a kid that if I had now, I'd be a multimillionaire. I'll tell you what, man. I honestly thought the Planeteers and Captain Planet were cool looking toys.
Yes.
That cartoon sucked. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm all about saving the Earth, man, but like that cartoon, heavy handed.
Wait, hold. Okay, Captain Planet, save the Earth, save the environment. Here's some melted and molded plastic
Yeah,
on
right.
paper and more plastic that we want you to open and play with. That
And
leaves
throw
more
in.
waste than plastic.
And you know what? And the adverse effect of that. Honorable mention to the penguin figure from Batman Returns. Cheap ass Kenner or whatever it was, just repainting it black and white and red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Scumbags. Look, you couldn't have sculpted us a Danny DeVito penguin, you assholes.
Pretty much.
How many times, dude? Star Wars, and the Ewoks, or no, blah blah blah. No, Star Wars and Robin Hood.
Okay.
Do you know about all that stuff? Like how?
The play sets. The play
Yeah,
set.
all the figures were like just ripped off of other toys, and the Ewok village
Oh,
was
yeah.
the whole entire
Yeah.
Robin Hood
Like-
play set.
Toy bashing or whatever they call that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
there's just things I know now. I wish I didn't know.
Well, think about this. Like, how terrible is this? I had these Star Wars toys. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. You would basically push the forearm to get the sword to come out of their hand.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought, man, this is genius how they did this. But then you think about it, it's like, man, that's like the cheapest engineering you can ever think of. And it looks so horrible. You can't bend his arm because you got to put a sword in there. And you got to be able to retract it in there. It's like, So you got to pretend that this is like a real thing. And you know, these really stiff, horrible toys, kind of like, I mean, back then, obviously, we thought they were great. I thought they were fantastic. But, you know, in hindsight, you think about like everything that they're doing now. I mean, my God, they look like realistic figures. And they're still the little 3-inch figures. And like, man, you know, I still want those toys. So I'm like, I'm at that age where I'm like, you know, I look back at my toys. I'm like, man, these are horrible in comparison. With these kids.
Didn't they have? Yeah.
You know,
no, you're
like,
absolutely right, man.
they're like leaps and bounds of how good they are.
There was no McFarlane toys back there.
No,
you know what I mean?
Like, no, there wasn't.
There's no NECA. Look, and also, wasn't the Back to the Future cartoon stupid as hell? But they had cool figures.
Yeah.
I never bought the toys, but I never knew they had toys back then. I didn't know that they had them. But
they had like 4 figures in that set.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then Bill and Ted had cool figures, and the cartoon was stupid.
Yeah, Bill and Ted had the cartoon.
Oh my God.
Another cool cartoons, bad cartoon series. That one was pretty bad. As far as like another big letdown figure or a cheap one, the old Marvel superheroes figures, the Punisher was basically just a cap gun. It's just a cap gun. You put the roll in his back in his backpack. And if you ran out of caps,
$5.99, then I got to go buy more caps from the dollar store. Mom's like, I already bought the toy.
Hey,
mother.
If you're out of ammo, you're out of caps.
Seriously. Yeah, I remember that. I remember being like, Mom, I need more caps for the Punisher, which I already bought it. Well, yes, you are correct. You did buy the figure. But how can he punish anybody? The only person being punished is me. God damn it. Anyway, I'm only like 20% serious.
You know, like, no, it was basically a cap gun. And if you lost his handgun or lost his weapons, he was like air pistoling people.
Right?
Yeah, it was, and then the little smoke comes from his back instead of the where the guns are at and everything. Oh, it was that was a letdown toy.
While I was gone for a second, did you talk crap about Orko?
No, I didn't. But since you brought it up, fuck Orko. So, as I was saying about the Punisher, like, you know, you pop the caps and the smoke comes out the back, which is really like he's like shitting caps or something. It's
he went to
a terrible design. It's a terrible design. Yeah, ponchos. So
smoke coming out of his butt. Clearly, somebody went to ponchos after church.
Pretty much. I think that one, and I think was it the Venom that shot out the black ink out of his chest.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that one.
Oh my God.
Well, he hit with a little packet of dye, and you put it in his chest, and you mix it with water, and if you did it, he would shoot out black ink like the symbiote. The problem though is that the dye wouldn't come out of clothing.
Oh,
So if you're
no.
looking at it face and you press the button and it squirts on your shirt, that
You're
dye
out.
would not come out. It would not. I had a friend at school who brought it up there. He was wearing
Is this
a
one?
yellow
Not this
yeah.
one.
Is that it? No, he doesn't have the squirt.
Oh, this
that-
is the one with the chest plate, right? Oh no! Oh,
Yeah.
hey, look, here we go. It's your mom's favorite Venom toy. Ready?
Okay, so Chris is working the tongue on his Venom toy.
Hold on. Wait. Here. This is for our enjoyment.
Yeah.
He's got some
Anyway.
tongue action.
Yeah, he does.
Definite
But-
tongue action.
But
Say the alphabet.
But the guy at school, or the kid at school, he brought it to show it off, and he faced it to himself and squirt the symbiote stuff, and it got all over his shirt.
Oh, no.
When he came back to school the next day, he said he couldn't sit. He wasn't allowed to sit. His mom beat his ass
Oh,
for
no.
ruining his shirt.
Oh, my goodness.
I laughed and I felt bad at the same time. But yeah, that one was like just bad design toy, just a bad design toy.
I wonder if that kid like sued what was it, Kenner at the time, whatever company was making it. Like you're the reason why I got a beating for your terribly made toy.
He's
No,
trying to
that kid went on to that kid ended up having a drug addiction, and he went to prison and robbed 3 banks.
For the rest of my life.
He became Edward Furlong. He became
did,
Edward
man.
Furlong.
And they're like, "Look, Jonathan, what is the deal? What happened to you? Goddamn Venom toy."
He's now suing Tom Hardy.
Exactly.
It was a downfall. That one toy was the downfall of their lives.
Yeah, man. It's like it was the only OP shirt I had.
So here's a question for you, Juan. Since
Yes.
kid of the '80s.
Okay.
What shoe did you wear? LA Gear, Keds that glow in the dark, or LA Lights?
I'm gonna tell you even worse. So there was British Knights.
Oh,
remember
BKs.
BKs.
And then the other ones were the before that it was the Capas. You remember Capas?
I
They
remember
had
those.
they had like 2 tying things. I don't know why, but you had 2 areas you had to tie your laces 4 times for whatever dumb reason.
LA Gear did that too.
Yeah, so that was terrible, and I really wish I never bought those shoes. But and you know what's funny? Like even the worst part, like when as a kid, I never had or owned penny loafers.
Uh-huh.
But I always thought the people that did have penny loafers were cool because they could put pennies or money into their little shoe.
Yeah.
And I never had those. My mom just would not buy them. I guess at the time they were expensive. I don't know. I was a poor kid. So, but yeah, that was not something that I could afford to get. So I was like, okay, that's not for me. But I always thought those guys were cool. But now that I see those, and sometimes when I see people wearing them, I'm like, that's not cool. Totally not cool.
I thought you were going to go another way with that. I thought you were going to be like, I walk around today and I see somebody with penny loafers and I'm like, oh, financial responsibility. You know what I mean?
Penny loafers. You must do your own taxes.
Right.
How about these new $50 loafers?
Yeah, and I always thought that too. Like, oh, this guy has like pennies in his. The other guy's got a quarter in there. Like that guy must be banking.
You go home and you're like, your mom's like, beans for dinner again. You're like, I saw somebody with pennies in their shoes.
I don't know why. And then like now, man, it's so weird. Like I see people who wear those shoes, and for some reason they're not wearing socks. I'm like, why would you not wear socks on the most uncomfortable shoe like that? Like
Exactly.
it's just like how I don't get it, but it's like whatever. To each his own. But I was just like okay, but
I'm
yeah.
a no-show sock guy, man. I like to think everybody's wearing no shows and not just being funky as shit.
Well, their feet stink. Their feet
Stank ass feet.
No, man, they're probably like it. Probably smells like money or gold or something like that. But that's how loaded they are.
Yeah, Gouda cheese maybe. Some gold cheese.
Commanda cheese.
So I do know. So Juan, I do know. Like another part of your career was heavily influenced by skateboarding.
Oh
yeah. Like old school. You had funcore. That whole style was. You could tell it's fused by skateboarding and everything.
For sure.
Who's talking?
To say like just talk about it in general, or
No, I hear like someone else coming in.
No, that was Juan. It was kind of funky for a second there.
Oh, it was?
Oh,
Oh,
was it?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We almost
Sorry about
had you. It's like we had you on a phone call on Stranger Things. It was like
Yeah,
get out of the right thing. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
So sorry. So what was the question again?
So I was gonna say,
know
like,
that,
so basically, like, you're like, basically, you got into skateboarding. How did skateboarding play a big deal with your old school slash Funcore brand that you had for a while? Because you had that for a long time.
yeah, so Funcore just started off like, well, I was in a punk band at the time, and the whole story was, I happened to be working my first job ever as a graphic artist was in this really like shoddy t-shirt place. I'm not gonna mention the name because I don't want to get sued later. But
Okay.
anyway, it was a really shoddy place, my first job, and I thought it was fantastic. I was getting paid so like really low money, but to get paid to draw. And I was like, okay, I'm here, it's cool. And I worked with a bunch of cool people who just happened to be like hardcore metalheads, and they were like into death metal, into like black metal, like pretty much all the genres of like the heaviest stuff that you can think of. And of course, I was the punk rocker kid, still skateboarding and everything in his early 20s. And so I showed my band off to one of them, and I still remember to this day. He goes, "Oh, you like to play that pussy funcore shit," and that's verbatim.
Okay.
Verbatim. And I was just like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, I do," and I was like, "You know what? I'm going to use that. That's going to be mine from now on. That's exactly what we are. We're funcore. We're not like hardcore or any of that." And so ever since then. And at the time, I want to say like it was bad to label yourself as music,
Yeah.
like to call yourself a punk rock band or to call yourself a blah 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 band or whatever. So it made it even cooler to say like, okay, well, we are not even a genre. We made our own genre, and it's called funcore. And so
Yeah.
it kind of went with that. I'm sure the guy who like said it, and I know I still happen to know him, and we still kind of talk. But I'm sure at the time he was just like, "Hey, man, that guy just stole the word that like I called him and made fun of him for, and then he's actually using it for the rest of the stuff." So, yeah, so I mean, it kind of spun off of that, and that was like the main thing that happened or came out of that. But that's the story behind it. That's really exactly what happened. It's the guy pointed out that we were like pussy funkcore shit, and according to that, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to use that. I like that. That's something that I can like spin off of, and it just kind of turned into this thing. And you know, um, I've always been the guy that likes like the underground stuff that's like, okay, nobody's heard of this, and and every once in a while you see it and you're like, what is that? I'm intrigued. And so I always thought like that's like the cool like thing to do. And so Aaron, you know me, I try to stay incognito as much as possible. And like I don't announce what show I'm gonna do. I don't tell you where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah.
And so
I
it's
know.
actually like 1 week or 2 weeks before I'm like, hey, surprise, I'm going to be here. I got some stuff coming out. Here's all the new stuff. You got to be there. And if it sells out, I'm sorry, but this is what you're going to have to do to get it. But the whole thing behind that is the whole punk rock mantra is basically like the underground stuff that you see that, only you and a few other people know about. And then like, more than anything, like, I have this thing about like not wanting to be online to sell all my stuff online with the intent to do that. Like you can't have easy access to the stuff that I have, but the people who actually like have known me and like have like met me at conventions, like my whole intention is to give them an experience, basically something that you can't actually get anywhere else. And so that's the reason why I do it that way. It's like, it's not with the intention of like, I just want to like screw people over and not do a show. It's like more of like, no, I want you to like to actually have that experience and be like, you can only get this when you see this guy here. You can only like, you have to be here in order to get this stuff. And so like that whole buildup, I think is what's kind of like what's driven that whole like quote unquote fun core up until where we're at right now with like Ramos and that whole like brand or whatever. So that's the stem off. I don't know if I answered your question or not, Aaron, but that's kind of like where all that stuff started and how we came about.
You more than answered that. And like I say, you can't not see you at a show. You've got like a 15-foot Optimus with your name across of them. and it's gotten to the point now that when I go to a convention, I'm like, okay, is he here? Because I know he's not going to say anything.
I'm pretty sure you said that when we walked into the Alamo City. You're like,
Yeah.
is he here? You're like, look for the big Transformer banner. I'm like, oh, Transformers. Nah, man. I'm pretty sure he was like, yeah, look for the Transformer banner. And then, of course, you saw it before I did. A quick side note, because I am the funny guy, or I like to think I am. I was really hoping the guy that you said, oh, that Pussy Fun Core shit. I was in the scenario in my head he was in a support group with the guy who got the ink on his shirt. You know what I mean? Like, so how'd you end up here, Alan? Man, let me tell you, man. It all started with this Pussy Fun Core shit.
How'd you get here, man?
Ink on my shirt.
How'd you get here, man?
It was downhill from there.
Goddamn Venom figure.
Aaron's driving by his Mercedes, throwing Venom figures at the guy on the corner. Take that, asshole! Not playing. Anyway.
So I always felt like, I don't know, like Funcore itself was just like its own thing, and again I spinned off of that, but it went to Old School 85, and then from Old School 85 I finally just decided like just to brand myself as an artist, and I just felt that was probably the easiest thing people were going to remember, and it seems that way now, just because I hear like, oh, is Ramos here? That's kind of like the thing. They're like, hey, is do you know where Ramos' booth is at? Where's Ramos going to be? So like, I felt that was like the inevitable, like basically like brand that name, and brand that basically under what I'm doing now. And so like, obviously I'm doing that Ramos Mecca right now, which is the most recent thing, but like I eventually would like to pass it on to my kiddos. So like when my time is up, I want them to like carry that on. So I'm hoping that they can actually push that, because in all honesty, I have my daughter now who's doing animation work. She's only 11, and I got my son who's doing like full production games, like board games and stuff like that, all on his own. That's awesome. So I know that if they work together, there's going to be like some really good spin off there that they're going to do like really well at. So I'm hoping that they can carry that on and continue forward with that brand and make it something that's, even bigger than what it is now. And so I think that's kind of cool. So that's my intention, like overarching goal for them and for myself. And so that's kind of what I'm going to like hope to do, so that I can start building something that's like worth doing, I guess. Yeah. And of course, also more than anything, hopefully, fans are like appreciating the work that goes into that stuff.
For true. And I have met your kids before, and I think it was either 2018 or 2019 Comicpalooza. I went by your gigantic booth. You weren't there. Your kids were there. And I walk up, and I think it was your daughter. She goes, "What do you want to buy?" And I'm like, and I look at her. I'm like, okay, where's Juan at? And she goes, "Oh, he went away, but he'll be back. You can wait over there." And she pointed to the side. Cool.
It's so funny because, like, I don't know what they were thinking, but obviously, like, if you come to my booth and you actually like meet me, I'll never ask you like, what are you gonna buy? So when she told me that, and I was like, no, Mama, like you don't tell any potential client what do you want to buy. You just tell them simple. Check out my stuff. Like, hey, if you have an interest in something, let me know. That's the extent of my pitch. And if they want something cool, and if they don't, that's okay. Don't worry. Things happen the way they're meant to be. They're meant to be, and we'll just kind of go from there. But yeah, she did tell me that, and so it's funny that you say that, because I was like, I remember that because I do have the conversation. Like, oh, yes. So, but yeah, no, for sure. I have no.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. I honestly don't like anybody who does that to me. So, like,
piece of shit, get out of here. We got time for your bull crap.
So it's more like, no, I mean, like, I always feel like, hey, you want to talk shop? I will talk to you forever when we're at a booth. You want to talk? You want to get like, you want to get something from me, or like there's a limited thing that you need. If it's there, you can have it. If you want to just kind of just hang out, then let's hang out. I'm about all of those things. So for me, it's all about like the experience, and if it's something you want to do, let's do it. I'm in. And so now if you catch me with something I don't know, then I'm just like, well, then you need to tell me. I want to hear all this stuff. But if you want to talk shop, or if you want to talk like advice, you want to talk business, or you want to talk comics, you want to talk Transformers, let's do it. Whatever it is, I'm in.
But I just thought it was funny that she already had her sales pitch going down, and then I waited for like 5 minutes, and you finally came back, and I forget the person who was watching your booth. You're like, that guy's got Transformers over there, and you kept pointing off to the side. He's got Transformers, and you're like waiting to go back, and you look over, and go, oh hey man, what's up? I had to go get food.
Yeah, and then so that's very, very true. And like, I kid you not, like when I do shows, I'm like, where are the Transformers? Because I'm gonna want to get something. And as soon as they are there, it's like, okay, I'll be back. I gotta go.
But
That's one of the beauties of being an artist, man. When you do the show,
It
you
is.
get on the floor first. You're like, okay, let me get my shit set up so I can go get some stuff before everybody else gets here.
Well,
It
yeah,
was-
and then
it's-
the other thing too, I
it
learned
is.
after a while, I was like, man, I should just kind of like come early, kind of scope out my spots, and then be like, okay, when I get a good break, I'm gonna come to this spot
Yeah.
because that's what I want. There's something right there that I want. So I'm definitely that guy for sure.
Well, that's how it is. I know when I do toy shows, I've been selling at toy shows recently, and I take my daughter Gwen with me, and
Okay.
I had to kind of train her what customer service is, because when we did our first toy show, she was like, okay, what do I do? I said, okay, Gwen, if you see somebody, ask them how they're doing, ask them if they want to look at something. So Gwen, being at the time, she thinks she was 8 at the time, being the 8-year-old that she is, she looked at somebody, she goes, what do you want to look at? And it's just the person was like, I'm just walking by. I'm just walking. What do you want to look at?
That's so close to like, hey, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing over there?
Hey, what do you want to look at?
Who sent you?
So what I got her to do is that I have this box of like buttons and keychains that I've gotten like throughout years of going to conventions. I've got all this free just crap,
Stuff.
free tattoos, buttons, stickers, all this stuff I've collected over the years of going to conventions. So I told her, I said, if I make a sale, offer somebody something free from this box. Here's a box, offer somebody free from something like that. Okay, Gwen hears that. She hears that. I make a sale on something. Guy starts walking off. Gwen goes, hey, come back here. What do you want something? She's like, and she goes, you want a free sticker? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you bought something, you get a free sticker or pen or whatever. It's fine.
That's
And
great.
here's Gwen. Yeah, you only get one. You're not greedy.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I'm like, Gwen, okay, come, we gotta talk.
Wow.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a learning process. It's a learning.
Yeah,
process.
it's a learning process. But this is
You
her
know-
8 at her first show.
You know what's better is like when you see adults do this, and you're just like, oh my god, you got to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
You got some growing to do.
Yeah.
I hope I give a chance to at least have a 5-minute conversation, tell you like, hey, this is customer service, and this is you trying to like be the used car salesman at a Comic-Con. It's not gonna work. So yeah, but
and the
yeah,
kids-
I hear you 100%. Yeah, it's a learning process for sure. We got to teach them young, and I think it's funny because I mean, they have to develop their own way of getting there, but I also feel like, hey, we got to kind of guide them as we go.
and like I've taken her, she's been at I think 3 or 4 of the shows that I've done, and she's and I have to remind myself I can't say too much in front of her because she'll repeat it. Like at the last toy show, me and Chris were both at. We're across the hall from each other, and I remember I was talking to Chris. I was like, "Hey, I'm hoping to get this amount for this Lego set. I don't really want any cheapskates." I shouldn't have said that in front of Gwen. I shouldn't have said that in front of Gwen because somebody comes up, they're looking at the Lego, and I have my back turned because I'm packing my backpack. I'm getting stuff out of my backpack, and Gwen goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool. My daddy hopes that you're not a cheapskate that wants to buy it." And I'm like, Gwen, no.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Are you
That's
kidding
okay.
me?
We're learning moments, Aaron. It's all right. No worries. We'll
I
get
was like,
through
you
this.
can't say that. You can't.
We'll get
When he
through this.
probably is, but you can't say that.
The guy walks away. He's like, I am a cheapskate.
Well, he quickly put it down and walked off. He quickly put it down and walked
He's
off.
the guy hanging out with the Funcore dude and the other guy with the Venom at the same spot.
Yeah, like, why did you rob this ATM? Because I felt like a cheapskate.
This 9-year-old called me a cheapskate.
She's right.
How
Pass
could
me the
you?
venom juice.
Yeah, right. Out of the mouth of babes, man. It is too good. You
Yeah,
can't write stuff like that.
it's kids.
Oh,
Hey.
speaking of toys that squirt stuff out,
Uh-huh.
Go
when I
on.
was a kid,
Sorry.
I kid you not, I
Uh-huh.
would get like, you know how you would get them and you dip them in water, like to get water, and then like, you know, you squirt it out.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, why don't we put Kool-Aid in there and I get to drink it?
Oh,
And
that's
sure enough,
ingenuity.
yeah, I guess we had a bunch of stained shirts and trying to like figure out like hide them in the clothes. So like my mom went and find them all stained up, like Kool-Aid stains on everything. It's like, oh, I better go hide this because it wasn't me. That's for sure. It was not me.
You know, hey, Juan, it's a good thing you learned to wash your own clothes early, buddy.
or if you couldn't get the stain out, they're tie-dye now. They're officially tie-dye.
Right? Exactly. Like, you
You're
want
like,
to buy this one? You bought me this. That wins.
Evan wins. Look at my. I just ruined my top dog shirt. What am I going to do now?
Top dog. It's your baller shirt.
My Jimmy Z shirt. That's what
I
it is.
gotta have
Jimmy
this
Z
Massimo shirt I can put on.
shirt. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta be rocking the Bugle Boy over there.
There you go. Exactly.
My
Oh, man.
Yaga pullover.
Okay. Here's another question. Speaking of '90s and skateboarding, are you a Vans guy or Airwalk guy?
At the beginning, I was an Airwalk guy because that's all we could afford. Vans were kind of on the pricey end, so I could buy
Yeah.
Airwalks at the cheap end.
Uh-huh.
But nowadays, I'm a Vans guy like almost all the time. The only time I probably won't wear Vans is when I'm wearing like some like comfy Nikes that I'm gonna wear like all day shoes. But I just
Yeah.
found some really cool like Vans that I can wear all day now, and I kind of want to wear those all the time. Only bad part is the ones that I get now. They're like pricey, but they like rip apart really easy,
Yeah.
and they're super comfy, but they don't last long. And so I'm just like, well, if I'm gonna drop $100 on some shoes, I better take care of them. And
Mhm.
Mr. almost doesn't take care of his shoes very well, so they rip up pretty quick, pretty fast on me.
Man, you need to quit
So-
using that exposure to pay for your shoes. Juan.
Hey, I just got
Seriously.
some new shoes. I'm getting to the age where, you know, up my back where I'm like 5 years old again, where I don't want to tie my shoes anymore. So now I'm getting those laceless shoes that are
Hell yeah, dude.
comfortable.
The Velcro? Are
No,
you doing the
just
Velcro?
straight up straps. Just straight up
Oh,
straps.
the straps. I gotcha.
Hold on a second. Can we talk about Crocs for a minute, though? I mean, really. My wife got a pair of Sorcerer Mickey exclusive Walt Disney Crocs, and I was like, those are cool looking, but I'll never ever wear those god awful clodhopper looking dumbass looking shoes. But fast forward to like a couple of weeks ago, when I was working at Bedrock, the manager was like a big firm believer, and like here they are. Here's the Crocs in question for you guys.
Ooh.
I know, aren't
I
those
see
baller
it.
though?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Clean
I
as
got I dig the moon and the stars. I would never wear
Yeah.
Crocs, but yeah.
But Free Comic Book Day was coming up, and you know, I'm 40 and I'm old, and my feet hurt all the time, and I hate standing up all the goddamn time. He's like, hey man, like I got an extra pair of Crocs, you know, make sure you wear socks with them or whatever, but like you can borrow these for Free Comic Book Day. And so like I was like, okay man, sure, I'll try anything. I'm 40 now, let's do it. And so that's my shtick this year. That's my gimmick.
That's your gimmick?
That's my gimmick this year. I'm 40, so everything's new.
Very good.
I slid on these teal. He just gave them to me. I have a pair of teal Crocs. I was just like, whoa. They were so good, dude. I was like walking on sunshine. Whoa. And then she got it. Yeah, and then we found a black pair of Crocs for $5 at Goodwill. We cleaned them, of course. But look,
There you go.
This shit's just like some nice used tires at Discount Tire. Man. Anyway,
Sponsored by Goodyear.
Sponsored by Goodyear.
There you go. Hey man, if it's comfy and you like it, man, you might as well do it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
You're
the shtick now, man. I've quit caring about how I look. I don't care. I have aged out of fashion. I have aged out of concern for it. I don't give a shit. I don't care about being cool. I know I'm not cool anymore. I've made peace with that, and that's okay.
That's why I quit shaving, because I just quit caring. And then when Target got rid of the Harry's subscription, I'm like, okay, I'm done shaving for now. I'm done.
Who's got time for it, man? You know what I mean?
I just quit doing. I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna be a hobo.
I gotta draw pictures of people's Cocker Spaniels as superheroes. I ain't got time to shave my face.
I gotta make crappy band logos. So
B-Band logos.
so yeah, like going back and shoes with no laces that like I got those new Adidas. They're so comfortable. It's like walking on pillows that can take
Ooh.
the epitomes of heavy flat-footed people and make
Push
it
yourself.
comfortable, and just so comfortable. No laces. I'm at the point where I just hate laces now. So I have those, and those work great. But I'm old. So
Aaron meets somebody named Lacey. He's like, I hate you too, Lacey.
Lacey, hate you too. So yeah, not good. But I just want to say thanks, Juan, for coming on. We're kind of hitting that 2-hour mark. I just want to thank you for coming on. I had a blast talking to you and everything.
Same, man.
Happy to be here. Happy to talk. Happy to have this conversation. I think it was fun.
And
I got to share
thank
my
you for
Transformer story. And
exactly.
Chris, I am so sorry. It says Richard on your thing, so that's why I said Richard earlier. So I apologize.
Oh no, it's okay. Look, I'm the man of many names, my friend.
Okay.
It's Richard. Today I'm Richard Trickle Jr. You can just call me Dick Trickle Jr. It's fine. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. And then I read this last one. I was like, okay, this is a joke.
I mean, it's it's Richard Trickle Jr. or Dick Trickle Jr. or Little Dick for short. You know what I mean? However you want to go about it.
Or Dickie T.
Gotcha.
Old trick Dickster. Anyway, what am I looking at here? What is this? Redeem them nuts? Okay. Oh, these nuts. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry. My wife was
Okay, so like I was saying, Juan, thanks for coming on. Do you have anything that you want to plug where people can find you on the internet, on social media? Where can they find you? Plug away your stuff. Floor is yours.
So I only have one plug, and that's going to be the Art by Ramos Facebook. And of course, if you want to be my friend, more than happy to just get me at Juan Carlos Ramos. But if you want to buy stuff, or you want to hang out, or you want to have an experience, I have to say you'll have to catch me at a show, because that's about the extent of where you're going to get whatever you need, I guess, from that end. And that's about it. I don't really have anywhere you can go. I guess if you want to buy some merchandise that is actually readily available, I am working with USS Lexington, so they are exclusively selling a lot of Blue Ghost product that we both are partnering with for them, for the USS Lexington. So if you want to get something there, I think that would be the ideal place to get merchandise that does not require you to be at a show with me. So unfortunately, I say unfortunately because we don't get that experience. But I mean, if you absolutely have to get some stuff, that's the ideal place to get Blue Ghost merchandise, because they are exclusively selling that way. And I'm more than happy to be working with them, because I think it's an awesome partnership. So there's that. And then of course, Art by Ramos on Facebook will get you all the hints and the sneak peeks, and hopefully an official announcement of where I'm going to be at. And I don't have anything planned except for one, and I can't give that one away, but let's just say it's going to be around October. And then I don't think I have one till the end of the year. So if you don't catch me at the October one, I probably won't start shows until the following year. So that's the only one I've committed to. I did have to kind of not cancel, but I did have to turn down a lot of shows, obviously with what's going on right now, and just bad timing. And honestly, I was trying to just get my career together with what I was doing on the side. So I don't know if I said what you needed, but yeah, Art by Ramos on Facebook, USS Lexington for the Blue Ghost stuff, and I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have much going on as far as that goes, but there's a lot of stuff in the works. I'll say that there's a lot of stuff in the works. Yeah,
I hope that there's you have some kind of Gundam prints coming down the line eventually. Hopefully.
I've been hounded for some of those, so I'm definitely gonna put my take on Gundam eventually. So yes, okay. So to please that little sneak peek, I'll go ahead and plug in that Gundam is on my list. I want to give everybody a heads up that I am very, very how can I say this? I lean towards the Death Scythe Gundam. So
Okay,
if
so
that's,
Gundam Wing, the Gundam Wing.
yeah, so
Okay.
I like Death Scythe. That's just me. So
Okay.
hopefully that'll be my first one out the door, and then we'll kind of go from there.
I think you'll knock that one out of the park. I've seen you draw Batman, and if Batman was a Gundam, he'd be Death Scythe.
Exactly. Thank you. I agree.
So I can kind of see that transition. My favorite Gundam is always the RX-78 number 2, the grandpa.
Yeah.
My daughter Gwen, she's a fan of Burning Gundam, the Doraemon, his Gundam with the flaming hand. That's
Chris knows
her
exactly what you're talking about, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, I love Gundam Taco as well. Like,
Oh come on, Chris! You marked out for the Gundam in Ready Player One.
I mean, yeah, I like movie.
I like movie.
That's the extent of his knowledge for Gundam. Actually, mine is actually very limited too. So Shin Mushu is another one that I like. I don't know if that's the right term, but I like that because I like the samurai stuff.
Yeah.
So that's more of that's the actual one that's sitting in my closet too. By the
Shin
way.
Mushu.
Yeah. So he's gonna be built at some point, and guess what colors is he gonna be converted to? Black for Batman. So we're gonna put black and red. So yeah. So I saw this really cool custom one, Shin Mushu, and I'm like, okay, I want to paint mine like that. So that's kind of my thing on that one.
You're not going to custom to either. You're not going to custom to like a Fing Fang Foom or a Shinron.
You got me thinking. So maybe we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
Okay. Do like Turbo Man from
Turbo Man
Jingle All the Way. Turbo Man with the Turbo Man Gundam, yeah.
Wow.
For my son for Christmas, yeah.
Well, again, Juan, thank you again for coming on. I had a great time talking with you.
Yeah, me too. Same here.
It was great to kind of catch up because we didn't get to see each other really for the last 2 years because of what's going on in the world. So
right.
No conventions, none of that. So this has been a lot of fun. So
thank you
again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, man. Like I said, we met barely in passing at Alamo City, and you and I have done a lot of the same shows.
Okay.
But we've never just, we're just two cars passing in the night, so we never really had a chance to talk to one another.
You mean a Porsche and a jet passing?
Well, now that we have this conversation here, now that we have this conversation, when we do a show, we got to hang out. Now we got.
That's right, man. We'll talk about Transformers.
Your favorite thing. Hey, man.
Little car go zoom and plane go boom, and yeah.
I'm a He-Man and G.I. Joe guy, so we can definitely talk He-Man and G.I. Joe for sure.
And for the record, like I don't. It's not that I hate Transformers. I'm just like blissfully ignorant to all the Transformers. As far as like, unless I can look it up and buy it from somebody and sell it in the store, that's about my extent of what I know about them.
See, all I heard Chris say was, "I don't really hate Transformers, but I really hate Transformers, and so I'll sell them."
Hey man, the dollar bill, sir.
$1 a dollar, right?
That's right, man. There's a market for everything.
So everyone, if you've made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you for listening, sticking around. It's been a lot of fun. And until next time, this has been Aaron.
This is Richard Trickle Jr., a.k.a. Chris Foreman, a.k.a. Mr. What's that? That road bitch, that driving bitch. I apologize to anybody who had to hear me driving down 610.
It's a whole bunch of names. He's got a whole bunch of names. Half of them aren't even good. So until next time.
Haterade.
Yeah, exactly. So until next time, remember, always unfollow, never unfriend.
We never settle 'cause we know it best. Here we go. Who want a 10? Leave you out of. Here we go. Give it 100, never nothing less. Here we go. We coming, you already know the rest. Here we go. We never settle 'cause we know it best. Here we go. Who want a 10? Leave you out of.
You probably thought that was the end of the episode. Well, it's not. I wanted to take this time and opportunity to talk about something that I don't think Chris or our guest Juan had an insight on or had anything connected to. And that would have to deal with a good friend of mine, Shannon Spruill, but to all you wrestling fans, Daffney. A tragedy happened where she didn't get the help that she needed in time. And sadly,
she took her own life. I've known Daffney for over a decade, and it's not easy to talk about. It's not easy to even imagine what she was going through. She was a good friend, and it's sad. It really is for me. I just want to say, if you're dealing with anything, if you feel that the world is out to get you, if you feel that you're not winning in life or you're on a losing end on a daily basis, please reach out and talk to someone. It doesn't have to be anybody that you know. It could be a stranger through the hotlines. Find a hotline. Find something and talk to somebody to get through it. Life is short already. Yours doesn't have to be any shorter. Don't do that. And I wanted to end and honor Daffney with the way that, a story that I met her, how I met her, how we became friends, because it's something that people wouldn't expect. And this starts off with me attending a convention back in 2006. This was in Dallas at Spruill, Texas. And, I drove up with, I believe, my stepbrother at the time, and we were going to meet a friend there. My wife, Jen, at the time, girlfriend / fiance, was going to meet us up the next day. So the story is, me and my stepbrother leave super early in the morning. We left like around 4:45, 5 a.m. in the morning to head to Dallas from Houston to go to this convention. So I'm dead tired, but I'm like hopped up on Monster Energy drink and I think a Mountain Dew to get us there. And we get there in time to check in and quickly rush over to the convention center in Dallas and wait in line to get into the vendor hall. And we get in there. My stepbrother takes off because he sees an anime booth that he wants to attend. And since he's, 13, I let him do it by himself as I kind of walk down the aisle. And if you've ever been to one of those early comic conventions, they really look like a flea market for nerds. Just tables and booths of just nerdy comic book stuff everywhere. During this time, wrestling and comics and wrestling and nerddom weren't really overlapping. If you found anything wrestling at a convention, it was probably one wrestler doing autograph signing, if even that. Virgil, maybe someone else like $1 Million Man, IRS, or even Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or something like that. But you never really saw wrestling merch there. So as I'm walking down the aisles, I see a booth completely filled with just wrestling stuff. I see the Cena belt, because this is like 2005. So the Cena belt, the spinner belt's there. There's a banner with shirts. There's buttons. There's pins, DVDs, VHS tapes, figures, everything. And this kind of blows my mind because I'm like, holy crap, this is a wrestling booth. This is awesome. So I go in, I'm looking around, and I notice that this is a High Spots booth because I see the High Spots sign finally behind a stack of VHS tapes. So I'm like, great. I shop from High Spots quite a bit. I know their stuff. I'm looking around, I look up, and I see a Daffney shirt. And I know the person who's running the booth is right next to me. And I look around and say, hey, without even looking at this person, I say, how much is the Daffney shirt? And the person speaks up and says, hi. I'm like, okay, hello. How much is the Daffney shirt? And the person again says, hi. And I kind of, stop and like kind of sarcastically say hello back. And I repeat myself again saying, how much is the Daffney shirt? And finally the person said, that's me. And I turn and look, and there is a woman with a bright orange wig and wearing what could be considered like Carnival Barker type jacket with the coattails, with the tails that are coming out. Didn't look like Daffney to me. But as I'm looking and I'm giving her the eyes like Fry does in Futurama, that GIF that's going around, I give her that kind of eye, where I'm like, really, like, is it really? And it is. I said hi, I'm like, wow, I completely baffled. I buy the shirt because it's the last one she has, and it was actually a size bigger than what I could fit at the time. And we start talking because she says, like, this, I know this is a comic book convention. I'm a wrestler. I'm not going to get any kind of business. She wasn't expecting to get business. And so we did a picture. So if you see the picture and I look like I'm walking death, it's because I was up at like 4:30 that morning to make the drive to Dallas. We did the picture. We talked. I explained, a fan. We started talking wrestling, favorite matches, favorite wrestlers of the 80s and 90s, who she watched, who she was trained by, all that stuff. The conversation probably lasted like a good hour. And as we're talking, I'd say, yeah, I'm going to art school. I'm doing this. My specialty is I want to design shirts, but also I'd like doing logos too. And she had made the comment that she's in the market to look for someone to redesign a logo, to redesign her own brand because she's doing something different. She told me what she wanted. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll think of something and I'll get back with you later. And I think in her mind, she was like, yeah, stupid Mark, whatever. So I finished the rest of the convention day, finish up, I go back to the hotel room and I draw that night. Just start drawing sketches, logos of what she wanted. Next morning, by this time I have to go pick up my wife or Jen at the bus stop at 5 a.m. It's always early, always late sleeping, always rising early. Go pick her up. I explained to her what happened, what I'm doing, and the drawings and everything. I grab my stepbrother. We go back to the convention to wait to open up. It opens up. I make a beeline for her booth again. And I show her my drawings, and she's kind of blown back that I came up with these quickly. So she took the sheet of paper. She said she liked them. She said she's going to take them back and study them. And she wanted me to write my number on the back of the paper. That way she can contact me later. And at this time, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm never going to hear from her again. She's going to get somebody better. She's going to get, that's it. 6 weeks go by, and I get a phone call from Daff. And I always remember this, her greeting, because it's how she always greeted me in the voice messages that she left, and even through text. It's, sorry, Aaron, hey brother. Those 3 words every single time. And since then, we've just been friends. We would talk. She wished my kids happy birthday. She sent gifts. I sent gifts back to her for her birthday and other things. We would talk. There are times I would kind of calm her down when she was going through some rough patches. She was just a good person, and it's sad to hear what happened. And I wanted to take this kind of opportunity to talk about and kind of give a tribute to Daff, to Shannon. You're going to be missed. Thank you for what you've done in my life and everybody else's life. And I just want to say thanks.
Cross the streams.
This has been a Cross the Streams Media Podcast.